And hi again, my name is Dylan Black. Of course, you're tuned in to Rogers Television. This is Daytime Ottawa, a brand new episode. They have already celebrated 1 year in business. Very cool. They've won some awards. They took an old building, they made it theirs, and they've got some new beers as well. Let's say hello to David Longbottom, who is with Flora Hall Brewing. Nice to have you here.
Good day, Dylan. Thanks, Dab. Thanks for having me.
Well, we got to get into the new beers. We'll do that in seconds, but you've got quite the story. So can we talk about your background? Because you were a business guy for years, then you decided to open up a brewery.
Yes, and I still hope I'm a business guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I did. I've had a very different career. I mean, I spent 30 years in other industries, mostly technology, not all high technology, but I am an engineer, and I spent time building companies in that neck of the woods. And these were companies that operated all over the world and saw me traveling, therefore, all over the world, spending time in countries where I maybe could speak the language and maybe I couldn't. But I would always spend a certain amount of time on those trips looking for places to sit and rest and watch people, and places that were local gathering spots, that were local bars and restaurants in those countries. And over that 30 years, I guess I just took a lot of mental notes. Okay. And the result of that is Flora Hall.
Amazing brewery. Okay, so let's talk about the building, because the building it's a historic site, and you have revamped it.
Yes, it is. It's a heritage building. It was built in the 20s, originally owned by Welsh & Johnson Engineering. That's a company that did all sorts of different things. Actually, as a coincidence, two Queen's engineers formed that company, and that's where I went to school. And my friend who helped me reconstruct this building was also a Queen's engineer. He and I went to school together there. So there was a bit of overlap. But Welsh & Johnson operated that business, and they actually were very prosperous. They had all of the block around onto Bank Street all the way to McLeod. So that's where Tommy and LaFave used to be. That entire block was Welsh & Johnson. Okay. So this building was a warehouse, was a factory, was all sorts of different purposes in their enterprise. And then it was a motorcycle repair shop called Cycle Salvage in the 80s and early 90s, fairly notorious place. And then briefly an automotive repair shop. When I bought the building, it had been vacant for 10 or 15 years, and it was in pretty rough shape. But I could see the beauty of the structure before me when I drove up in front of it.
And now you've definitely made that beauty shine for this brewery. 1 year in operation. Can you talk about the awards that you've already won as well, which is kind of unheard of just 1 year in?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I mean, I pride myself in hiring great people. I built an awesome team at Flora Hall to house inside that gorgeous building. And two of those folks are my brewers. And in the first year of operation, they were awarded a gold medal and a silver medal at the Canadian Brewing Championships for two of our beers. And then subsequent to that, a silver medal and a bronze medal at the Ontario Brewing Championships. So these are well contended awards. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of breweries across Canada that are contending for these prizes, and they've picked up 4 in the first year. I couldn't be more pleased or proud of them.
And you already have new beers, concoctions?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I mean, they've brewed 19 different styles in the first year, and as much as I don't drink them all, I must say though, every single one of them is delicious, balanced, great beer. I mean, I have my favorites just like any other beer drinker, but they're constantly producing new beers, and they created a few very recently to celebrate our first year anniversary that you mentioned.
Let's point out some of those favorites as well. And there, of course, is a shot of your amazing brewery. Look at this. This is gorgeous.
Oh. All right.
It just looks incredible inside and out, right? And the way a brewery should.
Yes, and that's a nice cask of beer being poured by one of our front of house experts. And there's a good shot inside the brewery as well. And what I tried to do, just while I'm looking at that picture, is I tried to use materials in that space that would echo its original industrial roots. So I added elements. And the whole idea when I was adding those elements was to have customers come in and wonder, were these original or were these added? And that's what we've tried to do.
It's very
and obviously, some people celebrating at our first year anniversary party. It did coincide with Halloween, so that's the costumes.
Let's quickly look at those what you brought here with you. Some of your beverages.
So I brought four of our canned beers. We package our beer in 3 different primary ways. We can it for our retail stores. We have a little retail retail store right there at 37 Flora that people can buy beer and take away with them. We also bottle special beers, and this one I brought with me today. This was bottled to celebrate our first anniversary. It's a barrel-aged beer, so it's sat in, I don't know if there was ever a shot of that on the screen. I didn't look, but there's some big old wine barrels sitting up at the back of our brewery, and those are all at the same time decor and functional. They're full of beer, and some of this beer spent its first 9 months, or our first 9 months of business, living in those barrels. And the result of that is that it picks up oak, it picks up wine notes, it picks up other flavor profiles from the barrels. So that's a real special beer. It's a little stronger than the rest. And it's designed for just a quiet night by the fire.
You usually don't see beers in this format as well, like that they sort of aged like a good wine.
Yeah, it's something certainly that if you go back in beer history into places like Belgium, that they've been doing forever. But it's certainly new to the Canadian scene, or newish to the Canadian scene. Okay. These other beers that I brought, we make a range of beers. We brew IPAs that are very popular. We brew an English Ordinary Bitter. That's one of the award winners. That's my personal favorite. It's a beer style that hails from England. It's a very easy drinking, 3.5% beer. A working person's beer is what that is. You can farm the fields, come in for a couple, go back out. Or in the case of me, I can have a couple while I'm talking to customers and be none the worse for wear.
That's good. Flora Hall Brewing.ca, 37 Flora Street. And you're open, obviously, on your website. It says it's a place to gather and eat, which sounds real good.
Yeah, another important element of that space is the kitchen and the kitchen staff. We have great staff right in the front of house and in the kitchen, as well as the brewery. And the kitchen is 100% scratch kitchen, so we make everything in-house. It's a simple menu. It's got international flavor profiles that reflect the neighborhood that we live in. And the kitchen produces the kind of food that pairs nicely with sitting around with your friends and drinking a couple of beers or whatever your drink of choice might be.
Congratulations on 1 year.
Thank you very much.
Good job, David Longbottom, Flora Hall Brewing. Appreciate your time. More Daytime coming up in moments. I'm Dylan Black, and this is Daytime Ottawa, Rogers TV.